For many, Memorial Day means barbecues, parades, and the unofficial start of summer. But what we really celebrate are the men and women who made the ultimate sacrifice for our country, protecting our values in the name of freedom. What you may not know is that throughout the world, the poppy flower has come to symbolize those sacrifices. And USAA has created an exhibit to honor our fallen brothers and sisters accordingly. Vice Admiral John Byrd is joining me from the Poppy Memorial on the Washington, D.C. Mall to tell us more. John, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Tina. It's my pleasure, and it's a real privilege to talk to you today about Memorial Day.
Well, and we are talking about, of course, the exhibit that you're there in front of. Can you kind of tell me how that originated?
I sure can. 2 years ago at USAA in San Antonio, our headquarters, we had a Memorial Day celebration. And our design folks wanted to think of a way to capture the poppy. And they came up with acrylic walls with poppies in it. And then they said, hey, let's represent every American that's died since World War I. And it was 645,000 poppies, which is in the wall behind me. People were so inspired and so proud that we had to take it to the public. And so 2 years in the making, here we are in the National Mall, right in the footsteps of the Lincoln Memorial, the Reflection Pool, the Korean War Memorial, and the Vietnam Memorial. So it's an ideal location on a great day and a great weekend.
And John, what was the idea of the impact that we're hoping that people will take away from this?
Well, I think the impact is going to be the same we saw, or at least that I felt, that our employees did, which is they're inspired, they're proud, and there's a little bit of sadness. I think they're inspired by the young men and women who will raise their right hand and voluntarily serve their nation, putting their lives on the line, in many cases, like these poppies represent, lose their lives, proud that they're Americans, and a little sorrow that we have to lose men and women in combat to ensure our freedom.
And I did mention at the beginning, we want to kind of bring Memorial Day back to the true meaning, but I also kind of want to do a little education. I don't think a lot of people understand the history and the symbolism of the poppy flower and how the two connect.
Sure, Tina, let me tell you, and you said it right, it's almost global. So during World War I, a Canadian officer visiting the gravesite of a fallen comrade noted row upon row of crosses, and amongst the crosses were these red poppies. That officer, Lieutenant Colonel John McCrae, penned a poem in Flanders Field. That took hold. 3 years later, an American, Mona Michaels, wrote another poem inspired by the first, We Shall Keep the Faith. And she became the poppy lady, and she said, we need to remember these fallen soldiers. We need to use the poppy, which was highlighted in the poem, and wear it to symbolize that. And so it's on my lapel, and the poppy became the symbol for the fallen, but not only for the U.S., for Canada, Belgium, France, England, and globally, as you say.
And I want to thank you, John, for actually coming to us from the memorial. But you guys have also made it a way for all of us to kind of feel a part of it if we're not able to make it to the mall. There's an online way to be involved.
That's exactly right. So if you go to poppyinmemory.com, you can have a virtual tour of the Poppy Wall, the Poppy Memorial, and you can dedicate a poppy to a fallen hero, one that you know personally, or one that you studied in history or your history books. And we would recommend that as a minimum, everybody do that as a show of remembrance.
I think this was a great reminder, John, and for those sacrifices, but I also want to thank you for your service as well.
Well, thank you so very much. It was an honor and a privilege, and it was so great talking to you about this very important holiday and this memorial behind me.
Thank you so much. For everyone, don't go anywhere. The Morning Blend will be right back.